I mean, I remember the tension in that first year of marriage of figuring out how to fight well together, understanding who it is that you signed up to marry, and you got no backouts now. So you're stuck with them in the best way. And there's just some growing pains that I think naturally happen for every couple. But for us, over the last few years, we've realized what's important to each other. And I think honestly, the beauty of being able to sharpen one another, the iron is sharpening iron, is we have chiseled down to the best parts of ourselves. We have been eager to grow. So now it's like I know who I'm fighting with, like it with as a partner. I know who I'm doing life with, and when he's doing something out of character, I can say, "Hey, no, that's not who you are. This is who you're called to be." I'm going to
Mm,
always keep challenging you to be that and vice versa. And so, um, honestly, we went through something, and for privacy, I won't divulge it all here, but something where I just felt very misunderstood and attacked, and just really was questioning a lot of the growth I've taken over the last 5 years. And I remember thinking, like, God, I don't want to be seen as this person because I don't want to be this person. Like, I want to be someone that's loving and caring and creative for you and not for myself. And I didn't, for the first time, want validation outside of it, but Arden just came alongside me in such a way where I didn't have to even explain what I was feeling. I didn't have to kind of make him believe. He just said, "I know who you are. I see the best
mm,
of you. I know that you are this person." And almost like going on my behalf. And I say fighting a lot. I promise we're nice people and we get along. But he just stood up in a way for me that felt very in tandem to how I would want to represent myself. And something about knowing that you are gaining traction with your person in a way that feels in tandem, even if it
mm.
feels like I wasn't in that conversation or I wasn't in that place, but we have become one in a sense where we have each other's backs.
Yeah. I think there's something too about like you've used the word fighting a little bit, but I think
A
there's like
lot.
two parts. But it's like there's parts like people say like we got to fight well, like fighting with somebody. But then there's the other side is like you could still use the same verb, like it's fighting, but like you're fighting for something. And I think you brought up too of like saying like, and my wife and I, we have like certain like non-negotiables. We have things like we do not do these things to one another. Um, Whatever. And like everybody has their own like triggering words. For me growing up, my dad, love him, but would call me like a punk if I was doing something. And so like the word punk is really triggering. Turns out Abby Grace grew up with two little brothers. She called them punks all the time, like out of love. And so randomly in our first year of marriage, one night she calls me a punk, and like I went to like a negative place. She had no idea because we never spent that much time together. But like having to actually then have the conversation and saying like, hey, like your heart wasn't for this. We're gonna like it did elicit this response from me emotionally that was not healthy. And like I didn't need to respond the way I did to that, but like so we established these ground rules. And then once those are established, I think sometimes when we have a circumstance that is outside of our control, like most circumstances are, um, and then we say, hey, like we've agreed that we're like fighting for this, and like these are the kind of the rules that we have. So it's not like we're necessarily trying to come at each other. I'm not fighting with her as much. I'm saying like, hey, we're fighting for the thing that we believe that we have. And whenever I can like I guess address something, or she addresses it with me more often than not, it's in the fact it's like, hey, like we are called to be above this thing. So I'm not like fighting with you and calling you. I'm saying like I'm fighting for you and with us together to be better and what we've mutually agreed upon. And like when we have that common ground, then all of a sudden I don't see my wife attacking me. I just see her challenging me, which and a lot of times like I need that.
Yeah, we talk about it on the Messenger International team. The understanding we fight for a fierce unity, and I think that's a really kind of an interesting statement that we all uphold and we go through because we had no situations in the past where we saw as disunity spread amongst the team on different things of just conversations that were happening and stuff like that. And we watched as it just unmade team members. And so once we finally got to address it and realized, God says one of the things that he hates is the sowing discord amongst brethren. And so we came up with this statement, and we have all of our team understand this, is that we fight for fierce unity. And I think fighting for fierce unity is not just a keep unity. I think keeping unity, you're like, okay, so I don't get mad. I don't disagree with anyone. I don't, take a different stance. But fighting for fierce unity comes with fighting for understanding. And I think
Yeah.
that's within marriage it goes even deeper than just fighting for unity with what's that. It's fighting for understanding. It's understanding that, hey, something can trigger you from just a statement, or hey, this is how I was feeling in this situation. And I saw for our marriage, it is for me coming from a family that is so connected and was, is still so connected for so many years. It always felt like for the first couple of years of our marriage, that was me and my family, and then Christian was fitting into that, rather than it was more of we created our own new family, and this is the family I fight for, and this is the one that takes priority over my parents asking for something, because I was their assistant for a while. And so coming into that understanding as a couple, and understanding within a marriage, I think is one of the key things, because we're not always going to get it correct. But if you can seek and fight for that understanding within that, you're going to see the best out of the situations. You're going to believe the best in the situation, and you're not going to begin to imply or believe things are being translated that are not actually, the heart behind it is not actually the way that you're seeing it.